Hi, hello there, fellow Terrarians, Minecrafters, and anybody else. Today, I'm gonna be building in Terraria. I already have my character, and this is my character here. I'm going to be playing on this brand new world and building on it. But since this isn't a playthrough at all, I'm going to use a tool to discover the entire map. And there you go. We go. That's the entire map. So, why not start anywhere but the spawn area? First, I'm gonna lock time and weather. Make it so mobs don't spawn. There we go. And get to clearing. So, there we go. I cleared the entire area, smoothed it out so it's all flat, and yeah. I put a block to stop the corruption, and I marked the center. But now, all we really have to do is build. And I'm going to put the original spawn point inside of a house, so that you spawn inside of a house. And there we go. That's the level which we need to reach. So, that's a reasonable level. Gonna mark it with wood instead of my bricks. And maybe a bit higher on the floor. There we go. That looks decent. I want the house to be hanging over a porch right over here. Oh. With room and here, and that's going to be the room you spawn in. So I'll block out the house and I'll be back in a sec. And there we go. The house is blocked out. I'm going to be going for a modern style. And we want to make a false foundation, which is just a hole in the ground which we're going to fill up with different different walls to make it look like there's something supporting this house instead of it being floating or on just the bare dirt, because it just looks better. And it's a tip that I was taught by Chaos, that other builder YouTuber. I'm going to be replacing these with stairs because they have the actual stair parts. And then hammering this one down so you can see the stairs. Oh, I'm using this this hammer has too much hammer power and it's so fast that I have to use a different one to get details in. You'll see that other Terraria YouTubers do this too. Chaos uses a pawn hammer, but I like to use this hammer because I just do. So there we go. It's roughed out. Now, in order to, we gotta figure out a style of building we want on this house. And since it's going to be a modern house, we're probably gonna want a more white tone. So I'll find some blocks and be back in a bit. And there we go. I've got a selection of blocks. Just gotta grab a bit of paint. Mainly just brown and gray. I already have my paint sprayer on. And there we go. So I'm going to build up the house as I would do it. I decided not to use much hard to get materials. The hardest is probably going to be, yeah, the ash wood, but I might not use it at all. So I'll just give you guys a little montage. Framework done. And as you can see, I just used stone as a wood, and I've also used a wood as a stone. I think. No, I haven't. But as you can see, the house is coming all together. I'm still wondering if I'm going to put a ladder or not here. I think it's going to be a stairway down here and a ladder up here. But we can add, oh, yeah, as you can see here, paint gets on glass. So you'll want to make sure that you have the right paint. And since glass has a more vertical feel, it feels good on the inside. And there's the frame. Now, I'm going to use the same sandstone columns from there, painted brown, as door rests. Or whatever you call them. And you still teleport up into this room. And so I can use some ebon wood on the inside and then normal wood on the outside to give it that feel. I think I'm going to move this over a bit. Oop. And a neat trick you can do with rope is make ladders. You can use any type of rope, but for ladders, normal rope is best because you can hook it up like that and create a ladder. And I'm going to attach it to the roof. Fill back in the rest of that. And there we go. There's that one. Now, I'm going to get rid of the rest of that. So, this is the base of the house. And actually, no, this could use a few rooms. But because it's on the inside, I'm going to be using the ebon wood and normal wood. So the outer walls are stucco and the inner walls are wood. Oh, so I messed this up. And damn it. There we go. So this is the basis of the house. Now, my favorite platforms I'm going to use for the flooring. Oh. Since it's not even, I'm just going to extend this a bit and grab the sandstone column, bring it all the way up, and don't worry about this right here. It will fade away with all the stuff around it. Kitty, please move. There we go. So actually, I'm going to say no to the column and fix that later. So for spiral staircases, you always want to reference the middle stair. And Kevin, move. Good. And because this is the middle, if we chop it out and move my cat out of the way, we can see this pattern. But you don't want to chop all of it out. You only want to chop out the stuff that goes behind it. Like this. Cat. And here we go. Spiral staircase. House is already coming together really nicely. I'm gonna grab... Oh, while I still have the sandstone columns, I'm going to put them periodic, like, just in a few places under... It doesn't have to connect to the ground because we can put a wall, but just looking as if they're supporting it. So go here. There we go. And there we are. Now if I get some green dye, no, green paint, which will be right down here, then I can use some strange plants, which are, that is too vibrant. But since strange plants only spawn in hard mode now, this is more of a late game thing you can do. And it just gives a bit of life down here. Oh, and you can place, and strange plants are two tiles high. No, they're one tile high, but you can only place them in 2 tile high areas. So, like this. Gonna get some blueberries. And blueberries are 1 tile high. And there we go. Looks all green and lush now. Now for the walls. I'll be right back with some walls. There you go. I just used the staff of regrowth to grow some grass down there. And I'm going to turn back on my paint sprayer. And I'm going to use ebonwood wool as a upwards design, be right behind all of the pillars. Then I'm gonna give it a layer of brick wall, and the rest I'm gonna grab some dirt wall. But not normal dirt wall. I'm gonna use the rough dirt wall. And you can get this by you can get the rough dirt wall by just going into a graveyard biome and crafting it at a workbench. And for the dirt wall or the brick wall, you don't need to use a paint sprayer. And that's the undergrowth and the staircase finished. Now, I'm going to use some gray painted ashwood wall as the flooring because it looks quite divine, quite nice. And I'm even going to bring it over here as like a wall. And bring, yeah, so that it's more of a fence. And while fences can be used, like the iron fences and stuff, I wouldn't really recommend using a fence because it has less of a feel to it, I'd say. No, I wouldn't use a fence mainly because it's a solid block. The next layer, gonna use can't remember the name. Gonna need boreal wood wall for later. Right here, planked wall. This is the wall you usually find in oh yeah, this is the wall you usually find the in the underground houses. So you don't even have to craft it. But just going across, place that because I broke it. Then I'm going to use boreal wood wall right underneath the boreal wood. I'm going to use brown painted Evanwood wall to provide a barrier for the staircase. And for the ladder. And for the door frame. Now the rest of the wall you can fill in with really whatever. But I like wooden wall for this. Specifically, just the normal wood wall. Most people don't really use the different wood walls. No, most people don't use normal wood wall because it's seen as cliche or overused. But I find it's quite charming. And now that the staircase is all done, you can clearly see that it looks really good. So I'm gonna finish up with the walls and be back in a sec. Oh, I'm going to be using planked wall as the bottom wall for every room above the first floor because it gives a bit of contrast to the next room. And there we go. It's already looking very house-like, wouldn't you guys say? But it's needing doors. Oh, I just noticed that these are actually not low enough. But there we go. And I'm just going to use the same trick as the doorways. Then there we go. Now for doors, you can use pretty much any door you want, but I'm going to use the rarer dungeon doors. No, I'm going to use boreal wood doors. Because they just fit the feel of this one instead of the dungeon doors. There we go. Now for light sources. I'm going to use a relatively expensive light source in the white torches. Oh, and I'm going to paint them gray. I like using the white torches because you get more torch for your buck or whatever. It just provides a lot more light for each torch than your normal torches. Oh, and if you really, really want to, you can hook it up to a daylight sensor so that when it turns night, they turn on instead of being always on. And the house is already looking pretty nice. But it's going to need a chimney. So I'm going to use some gray brick, just plain gray brick. The gray brick walls all the way down to the main floor. Then I'm going to come up here and where to go? Here it is. Here's just some crimstone brick. This is a corruption world, so you may not have crimstone brick, but I could make this functional and produce some smoke, but I don't really feel that it's necessary for this house. And that's basically the house done. And it's on to furnishing. Oh wait, it needs a little bit more glass. So if you put the glass in the glass panes like this, it makes it look more 3D. Or like you have a sliding glass window. Then you can just bring the glass a little bit back if you want. Make another window. There's always going to be a window in the kitchen or downstairs area. Bring this one back just a block. And I'll bring this one back 2 blocks. Just a little bit random. Actually no. There we go. I'm going to be using this ebonwood sink as well, a sink. But I'm going to be painting it gray. So I'll get to furnishing the house, and I'll be back in a minute. And there we go. House is fully done. All furnished stuff. False foundation's done. The second floor, the first floor, and the third floor, all done. And I think it turned out pretty well. If there was one thing or a few things I wish I could have done a little better, maybe it's make this a little bit bigger, but it's not meant to house 90% of your NPCs. It's meant to house your your normal, like, plains biome NPCs. And that reminds me, it's one pylon off the list. There we go. And there we go. All done. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And stay foxy.